feeling that feeling of dissatisfaction or lack of direction, lack of purpose, lack of fulfillment that a lot of women midlife I speak with do. And you can't seem to figure out why. And it's just really annoying you. Like what you're doing now, maybe in your career or your business, you're not loving it anymore. And you might have years ago, but just lately you're actually getting to the point where you're almost hating it and feeling demotivated and you just don't know what to do about it. So you're not on your own. It is one of the most common things that I hear from women at midlife when I'm working with them, either with their health and wellness or in coaching. And it is something that really needs to be addressed. Now, there can be a lot of reasons for this. You know, it could be just that their health might not be up to it, their energy might not be up to it, or there might be changes in life circumstances, which means it's a lot harder to actually do what they were doing before. There can be changes in the economy, changes in your goals and your values and your vision. All of these things can come into it, and when we do work together, we nail a lot of those things. But the most common thing I hear from women is they just don't know their purpose anymore. They don't know what will fulfill them. Now, here's a few tips to start nailing this down now. Now, one is to understand when you started to feel like this. And it might have been sudden or it might have been gradual. So go back in time and just think when you last felt really happy with your life and what you were doing, and then look at what might have changed, what might have happened just before you started to lose your motivation and your interest or your health or whatever. And just jot that down, you know, get a pen and paper and just jot down all the thoughts and all the history of this. The second thing to do that I recommend to people is to understand what your key values are and what really lights you up, what makes you excited to get out of bed. Because a lot of women at this stage, we're so tired, and I've been there myself, you know, we might have raised a family as well as had a fantastic career or business, and you've just run out of energy, or you're just overwhelmed, or you just want a bit of me time. So understand what, you know, that might be about. You know, are you actually doing something that you no longer enjoy or that doesn't match your values, meaning that they're, you know, things that are not negotiable for you? There might be, for example, if you're in a job, there might be some things that are required of you in the job that just go against your values. Or if you're in your own business, the landscape might have changed a bit, and some people that you might be working with in your business as either clients or co-creators, you might have different things that you need now. And another thing is to do a health and wellness audit, because that can have, your health and wellness can have a lot to do with your motivation as well. And in my Radiant Woman book, that's a good way to start that, because there's some charts in there that you can start recording how you're feeling, your symptoms, your signs, your mood, all those things over the month, so that you can see if there's any pattern in that and whether it might, you know, things might start to take your attention away from your health. So all of those things are really important. The other really important thing that women tell me they really want and need at midlife is support, because, you know, they're often dealing with menopausal symptoms as well and relationship things, and they just can't see their way clear. So that is very important to make sure you've got the support you have. I actually work a lot with women for this in particular. I would have loved that for myself at midlife when I started to, you know, lose my motivation and, you know, wanted to change direction. I actually did do some pretty big changes myself, and I was really glad I did, but it would have been a lot easier if I'd had some mentoring and guidance and coaching for that myself. So have a think about, what you're really wanting your life to look like in the times ahead. Are you wanting, how do you want to feel? Instead of just looking at the material things, looking at who you want to spend time with, how do you want to feel, what you want your body to look like, what you want your health to look like, your friendships, what you want, and of course what you want success to be for you. How do you want to measure that? All of those things are really important to revisit at this time, because often, what used to fulfill us when we were younger doesn't anymore. So I love to hear from you. For 30 years I've been working with women, and I'm Wendy Demerick, and have had a lot of wonderful time helping women to thrive in their health and wellness, but also in their career through both my clinical practice and also through coaching. And I do a free strategy call for women who are wanting to explore whether they need and can benefit from the help that I give. But I also have some programs and products that you can do for yourself. Don't walk this alone, And of course, why do I do a free strategy call? Well, number one is I have limited number of one-to-one coaching available. So I want to make sure it's the exact right fit for you and me. And the second thing there is that I do like to give value. So I like everyone I speak to walk away with something of value, whether or not we end up working together. And thirdly, I just want to make sure that you are looked after, and that if I can't help you, then that will set you free to find someone who can. So what are your biggest, concerns with your future when it comes to your midlife and beyond? And are you thinking of having a change in your career? Or are you thinking of making changes in your lifestyle? For example, one thing I did was have a sea change. I actually moved to the coast for a good 10 years or so, and then I had another change. Who said you can't change? So I'd love to be in touch with you. I'll look forward to that.